Hey all, here at OS Reviews. You're watching our video unboxing and first impressions look at the Xiaomi Amazfit Pace 2, also known as the Amazfit Sport Smartwatch 2. This is the latest generation model from Xiaomi, released here in 2018, and it improves upon the original by having NFC, so you can use it for mobile payment in various countries, and it also has a slightly faster proprietary Xiaomi chip that still gets you roughly 5 days, 6 days of battery life on a single charge. It also has a slightly newer modified design. It's still waterproof, it still has GPS, which means you can track your location for running and sports. It still has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and runs on a watered down version of Android. So let's take a quick look at the packaging here. Very simple, it's very in line with other Amazfit wearables that we've seen in the past, and on the back we have some basic specifications about the unit, and the important thing here is it supports Android phones that runs on Android 4.4 and above and iOS 9.0 and above. You can see everything here is in Chinese because this is another product that is at the moment only released in China, so hopefully we'll be seeing an international version soon. The internal memory specifications are pretty similar to the original. It comes with 4 gigs of built-in storage, and you can use that to store songs locally on the watch, just like an MP3 player, and then connect it to a Bluetooth headset, so you don't even need to use your phone for playing back, let's say, music. Some other differences include that the watch band is now completely black, so there are no more red accents, which gives it a slightly more professional look, so you can use it for business and sports alike. And down below here we have just the instruction manual, but it is printed mostly in Chinese. There's a QR code that you can scan to download the Amazfit app, and there's also just the charging cradle. It takes about 2 hours to completely charge, and again, you only have to charge it roughly once a week, and it uses these pogo contact pins to magnetically dock and charge it. The dock itself is made out of a soft touch rubber, so it sits pretty well on a flat surface or on a desk, and it has a simple USB-based plug. So going back to the design of the watch, the main differences here is that the body here is now made out of a more premium carbon fiber, so it should be more durable as well. It's molded into the back, as you can see here. And there's also some ceramic chrome accents. It's the same material found on the original. And of course we have a Corning Gorilla Glass slightly curved display on the front. We still have that bottom lip here, which is similar to the Moto 360's design. So it's not a perfect circle, but nonetheless it still has a fairly attractively sized display to body ratio. And again, what is new here, you have some additional kind of markings that you would see like on a traditional or analog based watch. Overall, it's very attractive. I would say the body is about the same size as the original, maybe slightly larger because of this extra ring here for the markings of seconds. And in terms of button placements, about the same. We do have that original key here, which is looks like a crown that might be rotatable. There's a power key here. There's also additional key that might be used to going into the settings or menus. And on the back we just have the optical heart rate sensor. The watch itself does also have sleep tracking as well. And what is new is in the software they've added a control panel for Xiaomi smart home products. So if you have any other Xiaomi, let's say speakers or lights, other things that are connected to the internet, you can use it to control everything in the house, which is pretty cool. It still is a slightly bulky watch because, like most sports smartwatches, it isn't going to be something that is designed to be as light as possible. So compared to something like the Amazfit Bip, which is the smallest smartwatch in Xiaomi's line, this gives you a bit more portability, but this one has more features and a more powerful processor packed underneath the hood. Otherwise, you can see the band here is still made out of a silicone material. It seems like it's going to be relatively comfortable, and it's again a one-size-fit-all that works with both men and women, but it uses standard watch bands that you can actually switch out if you want to change the color or if you want to change it for a leather band. Afterwards, we can scan the QR code using the smartphone app in order to bind the two together. One thing I've noticed is the screen here is probably still e-paper and not OLED like I previously said, and that's because even when the backlight is off and pointing at the sun or the light, you can still see how everything is highly visible, just like printed text. So it seems very similar to e-ink and the previous generation display, which I was a huge fan of, just because as a sports watch you'll be using this outside and in variable lighting conditions all the time. So this is a great feature. Anyways, the app here that we see is actually the version I downloaded from the QR code in the box, and you can see that on this page we have the Sports Watch 2. I'm going to tap on that, and now we can just scan the watch face that's showing up the QR code, and afterwards it should just pair using Bluetooth. Tap to confirm. Pairing has been successful, and there's another prompt in Chinese. We're just going to tap on confirm, which is probably the green key. And on here it says tips for using hardware keys. From the watch face, use the hardware keys to quickly start an activity, show quick settings or notifications. So it seems like tapping on these various keys will pull up the bottom menu, and the top one, tap on, will pull down the bottom drag down drawer for notifications, and the center one will open up your apps tray for all the applications downloaded on the watch. So it's pretty simple. We have dedicated keys for all of these different programs. And then on here we can also tap on the top here to begin what looks like a stopwatch function for timing, and then up and down to go back as well. This is what the continuous heart rate tracking looks like. Something else that's also new is you can cover up the screen with the palm to lock it, just like on the TicWatch 2 that we saw. So there's an ambient light sensor that detects the brightness, and then it locks the screen when you use this particular gesture. Finally, the watch is rated at 5 ATM, which I have to mention is a higher water resistance rating than on the previous IP67 certification from the first generation watch. And that means you can use it for longer periods of time for swimming. In fact, it can automatically detect when you are in a swimming pool, and it will begin the swimming mode for tracking that data, which is also pretty cool. So that's more or less it as far as all the features. There's also more tips that you can access, and from here we can see the interface is still, I think, in development, in the sense that it's still currently geared towards the Chinese audience, which is why there's still going to be quite a few of these prompts that are in Chinese. But it seems like there's an update already that we can download using Bluetooth. There's heart rate data that I can look at, there's sleep data, there's statistics, sports, my profile settings, battery percentage remaining, and let's tap on yes. And there's also tips for hardware keys that we saw before, and basic activity that we have for the day, and of course the connection status. So a very simple, straightforward app. Something else I've noticed immediately is the ambient light sensor works really well. So if you're in a bright room and all of a sudden you move into a darkened environment, it will turn on the backlight gradually by itself, which is very cool. The screen here also has a slight curve, as you can see to it. It's a 2.5D glass, so when you're gliding your finger along it, it actually feels quite sensitive and easy to use. So as aforementioned, swiping down gives us the notification shade for battery percentage, quick weather updates, the ambient light sensor settings, airplane mode, Wi-Fi settings, things like that. Swiping up gives us notifications. Swiping to the left here gives us also quick access to some of these pages, like steps for the pedometer, goals that we can set. Some of these pages are still in Chinese at the moment. Hopefully we can change the language settings to English after we play around with it for a few more minutes, but right now it's pinpointed our location using GPS and giving us our weather information for the week, updates, music stored on the watch, which I can plug into a computer to drag and drop files. This is the Alipay, which is the mobile payment service, alarms, heart rate sensor, stopwatch function, sleep tracking, checklist, and again connecting to the app, so on and so forth. This is the smart home app, which you can use to control other Xiaomi smart home devices. So that's more or less it as far as our hands-on first impressions look at the Amazfit Pace Watch 2.0, also known as the Smartwatch 2 from Xiaomi, and we'll be doing a lot more testing with this to find out how it stacks up against the original, if it's worth the update or upgrade, considering the price is now more expensive, and how it stacks up against some of the other wearables that we've checked out recently as well. But for now, I can say that it feels like a very premium and well-built device, a little bit bulky, but at the same time it retains many of the features we found on the original, but upgrades in a few ways, and maybe worthwhile if you are looking for a slightly more stylish watch and if you really want enhanced waterproofing capabilities. So be sure to check back for our review coming out soon, but thanks for watching this video here at OS Reviews.